Then Scar let go and watched Mufasa tumble down the steep slope. When the stampede was over, Simba found his father lying lifeless in the dust. "No!" Simba wailed. Scar came to the sobbing cub's side. "What have you done?" he accused. "There were wildebeests everywhere. He tried to save me. It was an accident," Simba said in a rush. "I didn't mean to." "Of course not. But if it weren't for you, he'd still be alive." "What will your mother think?" Scar demanded. Simba looked stricken. "What should I do?" "Run away," Scar advised. "Run away and never come back." Scar watched Simba run. Then he sent the hyenas after him. The hyenas chased Simba to the border of the Pride Lands. The cub dived into a thicket of thorns at the edge of a great desert. The hyenas looked at the sharp thorns, then at the desert. "The cub won't last a day out there," Shenzi declared. Simba ran until he could run no more. The thirsty cub collapsed on the sand. Vultures circled him hungrily. But Timon the meerkat and his fat friend Pumbaa the warthog chased away the vultures. Simba woke up in their jungle home. "Where are you from?" Timon asked. Simba sighed. "It doesn't matter. I can't go back." "What did you do, kid?" Pumbaa wondered. "Something terrible," Simba replied. Timon shrugged. "Who cares? You've got to put the past behind you. Hakuna Matata." "What?" Simba asked. "Hakuna Matata," Timon repeated. "It means no worries. That's the motto we live by, and here's what we live on." Timon showed Simba a wiggly insect. Simba watched Pumbaa eat a grub. "Slimy but satisfying," the warthog said with a burp. Simba frowned, but he ate the big grub. Then the cub smiled and said, "Hakuna Matata." In the months that followed, Simba ate many, many grubs and grew into a full-sized lion. Most of the time he was happy with his friends Timon and Pumbaa, yet he missed his mother and often thought of his father. One night, as they gazed up at the stars, Simba remembered what his father had told him. He wondered if the great kings of the past really were looking down from those stars. Simba felt very alone. The next day, Simba heard Timon scream. The young lion raced to the rescue. A hungry lioness was about to pounce on Pumbaa, who was stuck under a log. Timon bravely was trying to protect him. Simba gave a mighty roar and leapt at the lioness. But just as they began to fight, Simba recognized his old friend. "Nala!" he gasped in disbelief. The lioness looked deep into the eyes of the handsome young lion and whispered, "Simba, Scar told us you were dead." Nala told Simba how terrible things were now that King Scar and his hyenas ruled the Pride Lands. There was no food or water, and many of the animals had fled. "But you can come back and become king. Then everything will be all right again," Nala said. "I'm no king," Simba said angrily. But that night, Rafiki the baboon came to Simba and promised to bring him to his father. When Simba looked up at the stars, he heard a familiar voice. "Simba," his father asked, "have you forgotten me?" Simba gasped, "No, how could I? You have forgotten who you are, and so have you forgotten me," the ghostly voice continued. "Look inside yourself, Simba. You are more than what you have become. You must take your place in the circle of life." Simba knew his father was right. His friends returned with him to the Pride Lands. Back at Pride Rock, King Scar was angry with Sarabi for not finding food. Suddenly Scar heard a great roar. He couldn't believe his eyes. "Mufasa, it can't be, you're dead." But Sarabi recognized her son. "Simba," she said softly. "I've come to take my place as king," Simba roared. But Scar would not back down so easily. Simba leapt at Scar, but the villain slipped away. Instead, the hyenas rushed at Simba. Pride Rock echoed with their hideous laughter as the hyenas forced Simba to the edge of a cliff. Scar walked up to the exhausted young lion. "Your daddy isn't here to save you this time," Scar taunted. Then he pushed Simba off the cliff. Simba's claws scrambled for a hold on the steep slope. "This looks familiar," Scar sneered. "Oh yes, I remember. It's just the way your father looked before I killed him." At last Simba knew the truth. With a mighty roar he leapt at Scar. Meanwhile Timon, Pumbaa, and the lionesses had chased the hyenas off Pride Rock. When Simba sent Scar flying over the cliff, the villain landed in the mob of hungry hyenas. "Hee hee hee hee," they cackled cruelly. Finally they had a meal fit for a king, or a king fit for a meal. Simba thanked his friends. Then he walked to the top of Pride Rock. His roar echoed through the Pride Lands. The rightful king had taken his throne. The plains were soon lush and green again. The animals returned, and the hunting was good once more. Simba knew that a king must have a queen, so of course he chose the beautiful Nala. Before long, the animals again came from far and near across the dusty African plain. This time they came to greet the firstborn cub of King Simba and Queen Nala. Wise old Rafiki stood at the edge of Pride Rock and held up the cub for all to see. The elephants trumpeted and the zebras whinnied for joy as the future Lion King joined the great circle of life. The end.